300 guests watched my daughter introduce a complete stranger as her mother. My name is Elena Martinez, and I just finished paying $525,000 for her wedding. Picture this, your own daughter telling an entire ballroom full of people while hugging another woman she calls Mama. Meanwhile, every vendor, every flower arrangement, every piece of crystal funded by the woman sitting alone at table 12. What happened next shocked everyone in that ballroom, something they never expected from a simple seamstress. But before I tell you what happened, let me ask you, have you ever made someone's dreams come true only to be completely erased from the celebration? If this brings something to mind, subscribe to the channel. I post real stories every day, and I'd love to know where you're watching from. My husband Roberto would have paid for this wedding. That was always the plan, the tradition. The father pays for his daughter's wedding. But Roberto died a year ago. Heart attack at 53, right there at the workshop. Left me with his tools, his debts, and a daughter who was ashamed of us both. So I paid every cent, because Roberto would have wanted Amanda to have her dream wedding, even if she pretended we didn't exist. I'm at table 12, next to the kitchen doors, watching servers rush back and forth with trays nobody will thank them for. My name's not on the seating chart. I checked. Just Amanda's family, tucked out of sight, as if I might embarrass someone if I breathed too loud. I paid for every bulb burning overhead, every polished fork. I know the invoice by heart. But here I sit, dress fitting awkwardly across shoulders that spent 30 years hunched over a sewing machine, watching my daughter's wedding unfold like I'm no more than a supplier. Roberto and I built everything from nothing. He did carpentry work. I sewed. We lived on rice and beans for years, worked 16-hour days, saved every penny. We gave Amanda everything we never had. And she's ashamed of it, ashamed of us, ashamed that her father came home with sawdust in his hair and her mother had thread burns on her hands. Amanda's across the room, laughing with people who don't know a damn thing about her. She glances my way once, quick as a shutter. Then her eyes slide past me. The clinking starts. Thomas Hayes, gray hair, tailored tux, his wife fixed on his arm, stands with a glass raised. A toast, he says, voice ringing out like he owns the place. To Amanda's mother, Margaret Sullivan. He points across the room. Applause erupts. I stare at the woman, Margaret Sullivan, smiling, nodding, taking the credit. My hands are flat on the linen. I notice the calluses on my fingertips, the ones you get from pushing needles through thick fabric for decades. The same kind of calluses Roberto had on his palms from holding hammers and saws. For a moment, I wonder if I've gone invisible, or if I ever existed at all. No one looks at me, not even Amanda. My jaw tightens. I keep breathing, in and out, steady. Roberto died thinking his daughter loved him. He never knew she was planning to erase us both. All this money, all these years, and I'm just background noise. The clapping dies down. I grip the edge of the table, knuckles white, heart pounding so hard I almost miss the next line. Someone whispers my name, but not loud enough for anyone to hear. I sit, waiting, unsure if I'm about to stand or disappear. The room feels colder, the air too thin. Roberto would have stood up already. He would have marched to that microphone and told the truth, dignity intact, voice steady. But Roberto's gone, and suddenly I realize this isn't over, not by a long shot. I'm doing this for both of us now. For a moment, nobody moves. I hear the click of silverware paused mid-air, a faint clatter from somewhere across the ballroom. At our table, the silence is thick. I keep my eyes on the imposter, Margaret Sullivan, or whatever she calls herself. She sits with perfect posture, napkin folded just so, every gesture practiced for an audience. Amanda's hand is still resting on her arm. She leans in with that smile I know is meant for strangers, the one she learned at those charity galas she used to drag me to. "Mom," she says. I feel it, a burn hotter than any humiliation. I want to look away, but I don't. Roberto's wedding ring is in my purse. I brought it tonight. I don't know why. Maybe I thought I'd need the reminder of who I was doing this for. Thomas Hayes clears his throat. The sound is meant to signal order, not discomfort. "Let's keep things moving," he says, voice smooth but clipped. He turns his attention to the next speaker before anyone can dwell on the moment. Brandon, the groom, laughs too loudly. "That's right, no time for long stories tonight." Like he's afraid the silence might let something real slip out. I watch Amanda from the corner of my eye. She glances at me once, quick, guilty, gone in a blink, then back to her new family, as if nothing's happened. Across the table, someone whispers, "Isn't that her real mother?" Miss Grant swoops in with a bright, brittle laugh. "Such a beautiful night, everyone. Let's enjoy it." She signals the servers. Plates began to disappear with mechanical efficiency. There's a whiff of expensive perfume as she passes, the kind meant to cover something sour. Inside, I'm caught between rage and clarity. I built this whole evening, every flower, every light bulb, paid for by my hands, the same hands that sewed Amanda's first communion dress, the same hands that altered Roberto's suits when we couldn't afford new ones, the same hands that held his in the hospital before he died. Now I'm erased in front of 350 people. 30 years for this? But I know what I have to do. I won't let the truth drown in their champagne. Roberto wouldn't want that. He'd want me to stand up, to speak. The room carries on, or pretends to, but I can feel the eyes, the questions nobody dares to ask out loud. I'm not sure who's more afraid, Amanda or me. The air hums with things unsaid, and I know this isn't over. My fingers find the edge of Roberto's wedding ring in my purse. The metal is warm from being close to me all evening. That familiar weight in my palm sends me back whether I want to go or not. Yale, 2008. Amanda's hand was bone white around the ring of dorm kids, her knuckles tense. Roberto and I had driven up before dawn, him in his work jeans, me in my Sunday dress that I had sewn myself. The seat of our truck was sticky with coffee we'd spilled on the drive. Amanda didn't want to let go of those keys, just kept tracing the numbers with her thumb. Around us, kids in crisp new shirts laughed as town cars lined the curb. I caught the way Amanda glanced at their parents, clean, rested, manicured. My hands showed years of needlework, thread burns, calluses. Roberto's hands were worse, rough from sanding wood, stained with varnish he could never completely wash out. "You belong here, mija," I said, trying to sound certain, like the money and hours hadn't worn us thin. $71,400 a year. Every penny earned by the garment, by the cabinet, by the repair job. Every Saturday missed, every Sunday worked. She looked up, eyes shining and scared. "Thanks, Elena," she said, loud enough for her roommates and their mothers to hear. "Not Mom, Elena." Roberto squeezed my hand, told me later she was just nervous, just trying to fit in. It didn't mean anything, but I saw his face, the way something died behind his eyes for just a second. I laughed it off, pretended I hadn't heard, but the word twisted in my chest. She introduced me as Elena, a woman she knew, not the mother who bled for her future. And Roberto? She called him Roberto. Not Dad. Not Papa.
That's when something inside me cracked. Just a hairline split, but enough. Roberto never said anything about it, not once in the 10 years between that day and his death. But I know it hurt him. I could see it every time Amanda came home for the holidays and talked about her friends' families, their vacation homes, their country clubs, their connections. She never talked about us. Never mentioned a little studio where Roberto built furniture and I sewed wedding dresses for other people's daughters. A glass clinks somewhere across the ballroom, snapping me back to the present. I close my fist around Roberto's ring. That day at Yale never really left me. Even now, when I hear Amanda's voice, I wonder if she'll say, "Mom," or just "Alina." I'm not sure which hurts more. Someone laughs, high and fake, at the head table. I slip the ring back into my purse, feeling the ache settle in my chest. The past doesn't explain everything, but it does make sense of what came after. Roberto's gone now. He doesn't have to see this. Maybe that's a blessing. But I'm still here, and soon I'll have to face what's left, who stands with me now, and who's still a stranger. Back in the ballroom, I see Rosa Martinez standing near the edge of the parquet floor. Her arms are folded tight. She's watching me like she always has since the days we worked out of the back of that first studio apartment. She doesn't need to say anything. One look, steady, worried, a tilt of her chin, tells me she wants to come over, but she knows I have to stand alone for now. Rosa believes in loyalty, in doing what was right, even when it cost you. She'd always remind me and Roberto, dignidad, no matter who's watching. My phone buzzes in my pocket. I glance at the screen. Carmen, you okay, boss? The message is short, but I can picture her in her rented dress, jaw set, scanning the exits for trouble. Carmen runs operations like a drill sergeant.
Practical to the bone. She never lets feelings cloud judgment, not even tonight. Her loyalty is to the company first, family second, everything else after. She wants to help, but I can hear her warning in the silence. Don't let pride burn down what you built. I look around the room. 350 guests, not one of them here because of me. The laughter is brittle, the kind you hear in boardrooms when someone's about to lose their job. Crystal glasses flash under the lights. Every bill, every inch of those white tablecloths has my name on it, whether they know or care. Martinez Atelier and Property Management. 23 locations now. I started it all with a borrowed sewing machine and no favors. Roberto started with borrowed tools. We built everything together. Everything these people admired in my daughter's new world, we paid for. But tonight, our names are erased, like we were just vendors. Rosa's eyes meet mine. She nods, silent support. Carmen's text glows in my palm, a lifeline and a warning. Neither can change what just happened. The circle has formed. The lines between us and them, Amanda's world, are sharper than ever. I feel it in the hum of the chandelier and the hush when I move. No one says it out loud, but I know nothing will be the same after this. Roberto would have wanted me to be smart about this, not just angry, smart. I see Miss Grant hovering near the edge of the ballroom. Her clipboard is held like a shield. She's been glancing my way all evening, waiting for a moment when nobody would notice her crossing the polished floor. Finally, she approaches. Her voice is low, barely above the hum of the string quartet and the laughter drifting from the main tables. "Miss Martinez, please don't make a scene," she murmurs, careful not to meet my eyes for too long. She leans in. Her perfume is sharp and nervous. "The final payment, $357,000, is still outstanding. Without it, the reception can't continue." She doesn't threaten, not exactly, but the words land with the weight of a closing door. I look down at her hand, fingers tapping against the page where my name is printed in block letters. The contract. Every detail, my signature, the balance due, the line for approval, right there in her careful script. I nod. "I'm aware," I say. My voice is steady. Inside, I feel something shift. Not panic, not yet, but a tightening, like the air has grown thinner. It isn't the champagne or the music that holds this party together. Every light, every crystal glass, every bite of filet mignon, they're all paid for by my years of work, by Roberto's years of work. I can see the waiters glancing at Miss Grant, picking up on the tension. Even the guests at the next table lower their voices, watching us from the corners of their eyes. The reminder is clear. I still hold the last piece, but now the machinery of the evening, so smooth a moment ago, has started to grind. The pressure is real. It sits in my chest, as heavy as a bill unpaid, a question unasked. I think about Roberto's funeral, how Amanda cried, how she told everyone what a great father he was, how much she loved him, how much she'd miss him. 1 year later, she's pretending he never existed, and I know the moment for pretending is almost over. Forces are gathering just out of sight, and I can feel the squeeze beginning. Miss Grant is still standing there, waiting for reassurance, for confirmation that the money will come through, that the party will continue. I give her nothing. "I'll let you know," I say. Her face goes pale. Thomas Hayes doesn't need to raise his voice. He just steps closer, closing the distance between us. "You'll ruin your daughter's day," he says. Not a threat, exactly. It's the way he lets the words hang. His eyes are hard, but his jaw is working, as if he doesn't relish this job, but won't shirk it either. I can smell the starch of his shirt, see the faint tremor at the edge of his cufflink. It strikes me in that moment how people like him handle power, quietly, but with the weight of a safe door swinging shut. I don't flinch. If anything, the urge to defend myself, defend what Roberto and I built, gets stronger. "My daughter ruined herself," I answer, steady, "when she erased her real family from her life. I've spent too many years being told where my place should be, by customers who wanted their alterations done but didn't want to see the woman doing them, by landlords who thought a seamstress and a carpenter couldn't possibly afford the lease, by people in rooms like this." Thomas doesn't reply. He just watches me. The sort of look that says, "You'll regret this, one way or another." My pulse thuds in my ears, but I stand. I walk past him, my heels echoing on polished floors, and head for the stage. There's a moment, a ripple through the crowd as I reach the startled announcer. I take the microphone from his hand. Even the clatter of forks stops. "My name is Elena Martinez," I say. My voice is clear, carrying across the room, and I'm Amanda's mother. You can feel the air snap, heads turn. For one long second, every guest, every so-called friend, Every haze in their tailored suit freezes. I see Amanda's face go white as marble. I don't know what will come next, but in that silence, the truth is out. Thomas Hayes's warning still burns in my ears, but I'm not going to disappear on command. Not for him, not for anyone. Roberto would have been proud. I remember the way Rosa stood up, slow, deliberate, not a grand gesture, but enough to draw every eye. From the back, her voice carried, steady and low. Tell them the truth. There's no drama in it, just that quiet insistence she's always had. I catch her gaze over the heads in the room. She gives me the smallest nod, the one she used when I was tempted to let something slide back in the early days. Decades of loyalty behind that look, all the late nights and payroll headaches. Her hands as steady with fabric as with words. Rosa isn't flashy. She's never tried to be. Hair pulled back, no makeup, just a pressed dress and the scent of detergent that always clings to her. But in that moment, she's a pillar, my pillar. Her presence makes it possible for me to keep my voice level, even with half the room hoping I'll falter. I hear Thomas Hayes clear his throat somewhere up front. The sound is sharp against the silence. The weight of his family's expectation hovers over the crowd, but Rosa's calm cuts through it. So I speak, voice even, but my palms sweating. I say, everything here was built, booked, and paid for by Martinez Atelier. Every cent accounted for. Rosa doesn't smile, but her eyes soften, letting me know I haven't lost myself. Not yet. I feel the tremor in my chest settle a little, just enough to keep standing. Amanda didn't want to let go of those keys, just kept tracing the numbers with her thumb. Around us, kids in crisp new shirts laughed as town cars lined the curb. I caught the way Amanda glanced at their parents, clean, rested, manicured. My hands showed years of needlework, thread burns, calluses. Roberto's hands were worse, rough from sanding wood, stained with varnish he could never completely wash out. "You belong here, mija," I said, trying to sound certain, like the money and hours hadn't worn us thin. $71,400 a year. Every penny earned by the garment, by the cabinet, by the repair job. Every Saturday missed, every Sunday worked. She looked up, eyes shining and scared. "Thanks, Elena," she said, loud enough for her roommates and their mothers to hear. "Not Mom, Elena." Roberto squeezed my hand, told me later she was just nervous, just trying to fit in. It didn't mean anything, but I saw his face, the way something died behind his eyes for just a second. I laughed it off, pretended I hadn't heard, but the word twisted in my chest. She introduced me as Elena, a woman she knew, not the mother who bled for her future. And Roberto? She called him Roberto. Not Dad. Not Papa. That's when something inside me cracked. Just a hairline split. But enough. Roberto never said anything about it. Not once in the 10 years between that day and his death. But I know it hurt him. I could see it every time Amanda came home for the holidays and talked about her friends' families, their vacation homes, their country clubs, their connections. She never talked about us.
never mentioned a little studio where Roberto built furniture and I sewed wedding dresses for other people's daughters. A glass clinks somewhere across the ballroom, snapping me back to the present. I close my fist around Roberto's ring. That day at Yale never really left me. Even now, when I hear Amanda's voice, I wonder if she'll say, "Mom," or just "Alina." I'm not sure which hurts more. Someone laughs, high and fake, at the head table. I slip the ring back into my purse, feeling the ache settle in my chest. The past doesn't explain everything, but it does make sense of what came after. Roberto's gone now. He doesn't have to see this. Maybe that's a blessing. But I'm still here, and soon I'll have to face what's left, who stands with me now, and who's still a stranger. Back in the ballroom, I see Rosa Martinez standing near the edge of the parquet floor. Her arms are folded tight. She's watching me like she always has since the days we worked out of the back of that first studio apartment. She doesn't need to say anything. One look, steady, worried, a tilt of her chin, tells me she wants to come over, but she knows I have to stand alone for now. Rosa believes in loyalty, in doing what was right, even when it cost you. She'd always remind me and Roberto, dignidad, no matter who's watching. My phone buzzes in my pocket. I glance at the screen. Carmen, you okay, boss? The message is short, but I can picture her in her rented dress, jaw set, scanning the exits for trouble. Carmen runs operations like a drill sergeant.
Roberto gave her that ring with hands rough from work, hands that built her childhood home, hands that held her when she was scared, hands that she's now ashamed of. I try to tell myself it means nothing. Still, I can't shake the feeling, like a splinter under my skin, that something fundamental shifted long before tonight, and I never saw it coming. I wait until the noise of silverware and laughter dulls, then take the folder from my purse and stand. My legs ache, but I keep them steady. The chandelier's light makes everything inside that folder glare. Contracts, every invoice, wire transfer, and receipt. I laid them on a nearby table, one by one. Elena Martinez, the name on every line. These, I say, my voice flat, because anything else would crack, prove who funded this event. No one moves. Not Amanda, not Thomas Hayes, not even Brandon. I can feel the heat of their eyes and the chill of their silence. I hold up my phone next, the screen bright in the ballroom gloom. Every email about the wedding, every payment copied to Amanda, she knew. I thumb through them, subject lines, dates, her name right there. The proof is irrefutable and it lands harder than any accusation. I see Amanda's face blanch, Thomas's lips tighten, polite but lethal. Miss Grant hovers near the cake, phone in hand, ready to call security or the press, whichever seems safer. My pulse hammers as I reach for the check. The final payment, $357,000. My signature already drying on the corner. This is the last thread holding the whole charade together. I don't raise my voice. I hold it up. Let the room see it. Miss Grant, I say loud enough for everyone to hear, does this venue provide service to people who are ashamed of their families? She looks trapped. Miss Martinez, because I'm not interested in funding a celebration of my own humiliation. Then I tear it, slow and deliberate. The sound, paper ripping, is the only thing anyone can hear. A ripple passes through the staff, plates still, champagne goes flat. I watch the manager signal the waiters, "Stop serving." The music cuts off mid-note. I feel every eye on me, not with pity, but with judgment. My hand shakes. I clench it at my side. All the money, the years, the humiliation laid bare in front of strangers and cameras. I try to meet Amanda's eyes, but she looks away. My throat burns. The walls aren't just closing in, they're squeezing the air from my lungs. Roberto isn't here to see this. Maybe that's mercy. I know as I stand there that the consequences are only beginning. The sound that follows is nothing I could have prepared for. Gasps, sharp, stunned, ripple through the crowd like a cold wind. I see catering staff look at each other, lips moving in frantic whispers, hands suddenly busy gathering half-finished plates and glasses, as if clearing the tables might erase what just happened. The quartet's music breaks off mid-note. The silence lands heavy, as if every eye and ear now hangs on what I will do next. I stand there, the check torn in my hands, but something inside me pulls in two directions at once. Part of me wants to walk back, apologize, say it was a mistake, let the celebration continue for Amanda's sake. Isn't that what a mother does? Swallow the humiliation, shield her child, even if she's the one who drove the knife in? But another part, a deeper voice, insists that I can't. That dignity is all I have left, and to give it up now would be to lose myself entirely, to lose what Roberto and I built together.
Thomas Hayes's face has gone pale, the horror plain. For a second, I almost pity him, a man who's built his life on the comfort of knowing his world won't be disturbed by people like me. Amanda's mascara is streaked, her mouth open as if to call me back, but nothing comes. I almost want to reach for her, to comfort her, but my hand doesn't move. Elena, that is, me, I watch myself, in a way, as I turn from the chaos. No anger, no satisfaction, just the echo of everything Roberto and I tried to give her. I want to say something, maybe one last word to make it right or less cruel, but nothing fits. I let silence answer instead. I walk out. Behind me, the room falls apart. I can hear Amanda scream, not a cry of surprise, but a full-throated scream of panic and rage. "You can't do this," she shouts. "This is my wedding." I don't stop. I don't turn around. I can't decide if I'm proud or ashamed. Both press in. My steps feel heavy, but steady. I don't look back. Not yet. Not until I know if what I did was justice or just another kind of failure. Rosa catches up to me in the hallway. She doesn't say anything, just walks beside me. Her presence is enough. Roberto would have done the same thing, she says quietly. I nod. My throat is too tight to speak. Outside, the night air is cold. I can still hear the chaos inside. Voices raised, the clatter of chairs, Ms. Grant on her phone, probably calling security. I pull Roberto's wedding ring from my purse and slip it onto my thumb. It's too big for my finger, but I need to feel it there, need to remember why I did this. Not just for me, for both of us. By dawn, the city is already buzzing with my name. I see it before I even step out the door, bold black letters on every phone and paper. Bride's mother cancels $525K reception after being replaced. A headline, plain as day,
impossible to avoid. My own face, caught in a grainy photo, mouth set hard, hands clutching a torn check mid-air. It's all real now, not just a private humiliation, but a public one, stamped and broadcast for anyone to gawk at. I drive to the office in the quiet, passing delivery trucks and empty streets. The warehouse yard is already alive. Crews in their faded Martinez Atelier shirts, moving fabric rolls and sewing machines into the backs of vans. None of them look at me, but I can feel the story hanging between us, thicker than the morning air. Inside, invoices wait on my desk, needing signatures. I sign them, deliberate, steady, my hand only pausing when I see Amanda's name on an old expense report, the looping A unmistakable. It feels like a bruise under my thumb. I press harder, as if my signature could overwrite hers, make the truth permanent. Rosa comes in, soft as always. She sets the day's schedule on the edge of my desk and asks, "Was it worth it?" Her eyes search mine, a glint of worry beneath her usual calm. Carmen lingers by the door, arms crossed, saying nothing but making it clear she thinks I went too far. I tell Rosa, truth always is. I mean it, but the words taste bitter, like metal, like the air after a storm. No one argues, but I can feel their doubt. The headlines are proof. The torn check is proof. But to everyone else, it's just drama, an old woman's pride. Only I feel the weight of it, the real cost, the evidence in my hands, and the silence that follows. I look down at Roberto's wedding ring on my thumb. It catches the morning light through the office window. He would have understood. He would have done the same thing. That has to be enough.
A week after the world finishes picking over my bones, Thomas Hayes calls. I recognize his number right away, still programmed into my phone from all those necessary wedding consultations, which, in hindsight, were more like background checks. His voice sounds different this time, lower, as if he's speaking through a closed door. "Ms. Martinez, I misjudged you," he says. No preamble, no small talk. Just those words heavy as a dropped needle in an empty room. He goes on, "I'd like to offer reimbursement for any damages or losses you suffered. My family—" He stops, clears his throat, and I picture him in some wood-paneled office far from the mess. I cut him off. "I don't sell dignity, Mr. Hayes. Keep your money." There's a pause, long enough that I hear faintly the tick of the wall clock in my own kitchen. He doesn't argue. Instead, his tone softens, almost apologetic. "For what it's worth, your daughter spoke proudly of you once, before the world got too loud." The words land sideways. I hadn't expected that, coming from him of all people. For a second, I see Amanda as a little girl again, showing her third-grade class the dress I'd sewn for her school play, spinning in circles, telling everyone her mom made it. I'd almost forgotten that memory. Hayes doesn't say anything else. He just lets it hang there, like he'd accidentally left a door cracked open. I want to ask him what he meant, when it was, what she actually said. But the call ends, and the silence that follows is thick and strange. I stand there gripping the phone, unsettled. If Amanda had been proud of me, if she had ever said so to them, then everything I thought I understood about her betrayal is missing a piece. Something bigger is hidden, and for the first time, I'm not sure what story I'm living in. I look down at Roberto's ring on my thumb. He would have known what to say. He always did. But Roberto's gone, and I'm left trying to make sense of this alone. 2 weeks pass, and the world doesn't pause for a moment of grace. I sit at my kitchen table, the wood cool beneath my palms, and open the envelope marked Superior Court of Connecticut. The paper inside is heavier than I expected, thick, official, as if the weight of it could press the truth into my hands.
I run my thumb over the raised seal before I can bring myself to read. There it is, stamped and final. The marriage of Amanda Martinez and Brandon Hayes, annulled on grounds of fraudulent misrepresentation. The words seemed to pulse on the page. I traced the line, my pulse loud in my ears. Petitioner, Brandon Hayes. Respondent, Amanda Martinez. Reason, fraudulent misrepresentation regarding familial identity. For years, I'd wondered what proof looked like. Now I have it in my hand, irrefutable, cold and public. There's no more room for denial or for stories to be spun at charity luncheons. The ink catches the kitchen light, and I let the truth sink in. By that evening, Amanda has lost her position at the gallery. The news moves faster than any rumor she'd ever try to outrun. Friends stop calling, the invitations dry up. I hear through Carmen that the Hayes family has cut all ties, as though she never existed. The world she built on fiction collapses, not with drama, but with a hollow silence.
Elena, myself. I read it all. I don't gloat. I don't call her or the Hayes. I just sit with the document, the final lesson heavy in my lap. I tried to teach her with love. Life chose consequence. There's no going back now. I hold the proof, and the story has changed forever. I think about calling her. My finger hovers over her name in my phone. But what would I say? I'm sorry your marriage fell apart? I told you so. Come home. None of it feels right. Roberto would know what to do. He always knew how to reach her, even when she was pushing us away. But Roberto's not here, and Amanda hasn't called me either. The kitchen feels too quiet. The document sits on the table between my coffee cup and Roberto's empty chair. Proof of what I did. Proof of what it cost. I slip Roberto's ring off my thumb and hold it up to the light. Inside the band, there's an engraving I had done 30 years ago. Always together. We're not together anymore, but maybe in doing this, I kept us together in the only way I could. By refusing to let our daughter erase us. 6 weeks have passed. I drive the same old van, hands gripping the wheel tighter than I mean to as the light turns red at the intersection in Trenton. The sky is settling into that soft blue-gray of dusk, too late for errands, too early for night. I'm not thinking of Amanda, not consciously, until I see her. She stands alone at the bus stop across the street, holding a battered manila folder against her chest. No chauffeur waiting, no designer purse on her arm, not even a hint of gold at her wrist. Her hair is pulled back simple, the way she wore it as a kid when she'd help me sort buttons and thread on Saturdays. Jeans, sneakers, a plain shirt, clothes that belong to nobody's daughter in particular. I watch her scan the street, eyes moving past faces, past cars, until she finds mine. For a split second, our eyes lock. Hers uncertain, tired, stripped of the defiance I remember from the wedding. No crowd now, no audience, just us and the fading light. She doesn't wave, doesn't smile, neither do I. My chest tightens, a sensation almost physical, like the air has left the cab. I see it, as clearly as anything I've ever seen in my life, the pride gone, the hope flickering behind her eyes, asking, not demanding, if there's a chance left. The old Amanda would have turned away, but she holds my gaze. In that moment, I know nothing can erase what happened. She's waiting, not just for a bus, but for a sign that bridges could still be rebuilt. I feel every year in my bones, the weight of all Roberto and I gave and all she threw away. The light changes. I could press the gas, let the moment pass, but I don't. I pull over. Amanda's eyes widen. For a second, she doesn't move. Then slowly, she walks toward the van. Each step looks like it costs her something. I unlock the passenger door. She climbs in, folder clutched to her chest like a shield. We sit in silence. The heater hums. Outside, the dusk deepens. "Mom," she says finally, not Elena. "Mom." I look at her. Really look at her. The designer clothes are gone. The perfect makeup is gone. What's left is my daughter, stripped down to nothing but herself. "I lost everything," she whispers. Her voice cracks. I know. The haze won't speak to me. My job is gone. My apartment. She stops, swallows hard. I'm staying at a motel on Route 9. I want to say I'm sorry. I want to say I told you so. I want to say 1,000 things. But what comes out is, what's in the folder? She opens it. Inside there are resumes, applications, all for entry-level positions. Seamstress assistant, fabric cutter, alteration specialist. I thought, her voice breaks. I thought maybe you could teach me, the way you taught yourself, the way you and Dad built everything from nothing. I look down at Roberto's ring on my thumb, then back at Amanda. Your father would have wanted that, I say quietly. She nods, tears streaming now. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry. For the wedding, for pretending, for everything. The words hang between us. They don't fix anything. They don't erase what happened. But they're a start. Come home, I say. We'll figure it out. She looks at me, disbelieving. After what I did? You're still my daughter. I pause. And your father's daughter. Nothing changes that. The traffic light cycles through its colors. Green, yellow, red. Green again. We sit there. The weight of 6 weeks, of 26 years, pressing down on us both. Finally, I put the van in gear and pull back into traffic. Amanda beside me, silent but present, the folder on her lap, the hope in her eyes, fragile as thread. It's not forgiveness. Not yet. But it's something. And for now, that's enough. Weeks pass. I watch Amanda from my office window as she steps out of the company van, fabric samples tucked under her arm, measuring tape around her neck. She looks tired but determined, like someone learning what hard work really means. Rosa trains her on the alterations. Carmen teaches her to read the work orders. Amanda starts at the bottom, hemming curtains, fixing torn seams, learning to thread an industrial machine without jamming it. She's slow, makes mistakes, burns her fingers on the iron, pricks her thumb with pins, but she shows up. Every day, 7 a.m. sharp. One afternoon, I find her in the back room hand-stitching a wedding dress. Her stitches are uneven but careful, concentrated. That's going to take you hours. She doesn't look up. I know, but you said if I'm going to do it right. I did say that. On her first day, when she wanted to rush through a repair job. Your father used to say the same thing about his carpentry work. If you're going to put your name on it, make it something you're proud of. Amanda's hands still. She looks up at me, eyes red-rimmed. I wish I could tell him I'm sorry. He knows, and I believe it. She goes back to her stitching. I watch for a moment longer, then return to my office. On my desk, there's a photo I haven't looked at in months. Roberto and Amanda. Her high school graduation. She's wearing the dress I made for her. He's wearing his best suit, the one he only brought out for special occasions. Both of them smiling. I pick up the photo, run my finger over Roberto's face. She's trying, I whisper to him. She's really trying. I like to think he'd be proud.
Not of what she did, but of what she's doing now. Coming back, starting over, building something real. It's not the ending I imagined at that wedding 6 weeks ago. When I tore that check and walked out, I thought that was it. The final word, the last chapter. But maybe it wasn't an ending at all. Maybe it was just the truth, finally spoken out loud. And sometimes the truth has to hurt before it can heal. Amanda appears at my door, holding a finished garment. "Miss Chen's dress is ready for pickup," she says formally. Then, quieter, "I think I did okay on the hem." I examine it. The stitches are still uneven, but better than last week. Much better than her first attempt. "It's good work," I say. A small smile crosses her face. Pride earned this time, not borrowed or pretended. She heads back to the workshop. I hear her talking to Rosa, asking about a technique, listening carefully to the answer. I look down at Roberto's ring on my thumb, then I slip it off and put it in my desk drawer, next to the photo. I don't need to wear it anymore. The reminder is enough. My daughter is home. She's learning. She's trying. And that's what Roberto would have wanted. Not perfection, not apologies that fix everything. Just the chance to start again, with the truth between us this time.